Still trying to comprehend what the hell happened when the Vikings came back from the 33-point deficit, the greatest comeback in NFL history. The Vikings getting it done in overtime, 39-36 against the Colts. The season is so stupid. It really is. But when it comes to national media JEROME haircuts, we love and respect Mike Florio. He's a guy that ground his way up from a blog to NBC Sports. It's fantastic. It's a great story, man. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but neither am I. I actually think that he's pretty funny most of the time. Plus, he has been a long-suffering Minnesota Vikings fans, but I feel like some of his work, that's not a thermos, I feel like some of his work this year has just been too wet blanket. I mean, yeah, the Vikings, are they punching over their weight? Are they over their skis, or whatever analogy you want to use? Maybe, but just minimizing and diminishing some of the accomplishments that this team has had. I mean, it's really just poo-pooing things. And we pointed out a bunch of his articles this year, just been very emo. It's like sad sack Vikings fan fiction. It's been rough. But he did up a post. Kirk Cousins didn't realize he was engineering the greatest comeback of all time. All right, so after the game, Pelissero interviewed Kirk Cousins, like, hey, greatest comeback of all time. And Kirk was like, whoa. Oh, because he thought that he didn't know that the Bills and Oilers was 35-0. Or no, he thought it was 35-0, not 35-3 or whatever. Either way, 33 points, greatest comeback. Blah, 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 blah. Kirk Cousins didn't realize he was engineering history. He thought the Bills quarterbacked that day by Fire Colts coach Frank Reich had erased a 35-0 deficit in blah, 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 blah. All right, so we covered that. It was the second super nutty game of the year for the Vikings, 5 weeks after a 33-30 overtime epic on the same field where the Oilers and Bills happened nearly 30 years ago, coupled with plenty of wafer-thin margins for Minnesota this year. Oh, point differential again. Hell, by the way, since the Cowboys lost to the Jaguars, the last two games are point differential against Jacksonville and Houston has been -2. So that's how that works. It's amazing. It contributes to the sense that they have something special going on. This just doesn't happen to average people, Cousins told Albert Breer. And this team has been uncommon and has displayed an uncommon level of chemistry with another toughness, and I think it was on display today. When it happened in Week 10, it created a temporary sense that the Vikings were the 2022 team of destiny. Here it is. Here we go. And then just a week later, they're blown out at home by the Cowboys, 40-3. I mean, 40-30 would have been much better. It was the Vikings' worst loss in Minnesota since John F. Kennedy was president. By the way, okay, Boomer, like using those milestones as references, like no one under 20 knows when JFK was president. And that's more of an indictment on the American school system, but whatever. This time around, the win delivered a division title that was looking more than a little tenuous, but the Vikings still are facing the number 2 seed at best, barring an epic late season collapse by the Eagles. And with the Niners winning 7 in a row, the number 2 seed is far from guaranteed, meaning that the divisional round could consist of another trip to Santa Clara, where the Vikings were dismantled in 2019 by a 49ers team that actually may be even better now. So this is classic Vikings. The glass is half empty, and the half that is full of pee. I mean, that's one of those things. So it's like, oh, well, they can't get the 1 seed, and the Niners have won a lot of games in a row, so they might get the 2 seed. So the Vikings, if they actually do win the wild card game, they might have to travel to California, which, by the way, aren't the Vikings just a smidge better than they were in 2019 as well? I mean, it's almost like they're two completely different teams with a different coaching staff. Who knew? So to the extent that the Vikings have proven by beating Indy after falling behind 33-0 that they still have a horseshoe up their butt, they're going to need a lot more luck to keep this thing going beyond the wild card round. Maybe after yesterday, they firmly believe they can make their own luck whenever and wherever they need to do it. So again, it's a slap in the face again. It's like, oh, the Vikings just got lucky. Right. It isn't skill winning these close-ass games. It isn't skill having the fortitude to be able to put a drive together when things haven't been going your way and claw yourself back into the game and all of a sudden win. Yeah, that's all luck. All luck. Right. And no one ever gets lucky in the playoffs. Right. Because every single year in the NFL playoffs, both 1 seeds automatically go to the Super Bowl. Like, there's never any upsets. Good teams never have a bad day. The underdog never takes advantage. No, it's like Vegas knows. So whoever is the favorite in the game automatically wins. That's how it goes, huh? But I understand. Like, Florio, he's a true Vikings fan, and he's just sort of emotionally hedging Like, he's not even doing that. Like, he's just being downtrodden and poo-pooing the Vikings. It's like, oh, even if they do get in the playoffs, they'll have to go play the Niners, and the Niners beat them a couple years ago with a completely different team and a different coaching staff. But whatever. Yeah, they haven't been good since JFK. Blah 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 blah. It's rough. But yeah, again, my problem is not everyone knows that he's a Vikings fan. So if you're just an average reader of PFT and say you're not a fan of the Vikings, like you don't have a dog in the fight, but you read that and then now you just realize that, hey, this is a national media outlet, objective journalist, big J journalist, and it's like, oh, yeah, the Vikings are garbaggio, and they're just floating by on rainbow unicorns and farts. But it's whatever. I can't wait to read the article if and when the Vikings win the Super Bowl. It's like, well, if the Vikings finally win the Super Bowl, it's about time. The Vikings are still 1-4 in the Super Bowl and also are trailing number of Super Bowl wins behind this team. So stupid. Enjoy the ride, by the way. But your thoughts are thoughts. Florio's at it again. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.